Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We're gonna light it up. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We're gonna light it up.
Hey, good evening, folks, and welcome back to Chris Wyatt Africa, Chris Wyatt Reports. This is the original channel here, right back on the OG, the original gangster right here. Good to see you once again. It is Monday evening, January 8th, 2024. Here I am in central Pennsylvania, and you may find yourselves around the world. I see Arctic is here with us tonight. An unannounced broadcast. For those who are following the stream, you know that today I had a dental appointment, but I also had a medical appointment, and then that kind of filled up my day. Didn't finish till early evening. I've been tied up with events here in central Pennsylvania since then, but I did feel in the mood to do something tonight, and I haven't done a live stream on the original channel here that was restored back in February of last year after 23 months in the gulag, courtesy of Susan Wojcicki, whatever she called herself there, the former evil CEO of the YouTube company. When it was under Alphabet, which it still is. Anyway, welcome back, folks. Getting old sucks. See the doctor. Yeah, it's not a question of getting old. The injury I went and saw him about today occurred nearly 40 years ago in 1985. So that would be 39 years ago when this actually occurred. Did I do my math right? 80? Yeah, 39 years ago. So it's an old injury, one that never got proper treatment while serving in the Army for a host of reasons. Number one, didn't bother me all that much initially. Number two, I spent a lot of years in Africa and remote assignments without proper medical care, so never got around to it. And then it didn't bother me a whole lot for the few years I was back here in America at the Army War College before my retirement from active duty in 2019. It did start to flare up a bit before then, and it's been a bit of a problem. Hey, Vilma, welcome in from South Africa. How's it going? And but it is bothering me. So it's not getting old, and it's not arthritis. That's been ruled out. I was concerned I might have arthritis, but it looks like it's just bursitis, which is something we can address. Actually, the actions that I take to make it feel better helped indicate for the physician that it was actually bursitis. So finally I have a diagnosis for something, even when I got my Veterans Administration physical. I didn't even get that diagnosis. They just gave me nothing for it and didn't really say anything about it. Gave me a 0 rating. But anyway, folks, that's what's happening. Crazy, crazy world once again. What are we talking about tonight? Well, the topic that keeps on giving that the leftists just want to make excuses for, that, of course, is the unqualified former president of Harvard University, Ms. Claudine Gay, who has fewer books published academically than I do. You're going to sign me up to be the president of Harvard? I'll sign up for it. Just 0 books she's published academically. I've got 2 sitting on the shelf right behind me, right over there, right there, 2 books that I've been published in, one for a reputable university in South Africa, Stellenbosch University, and another one and I was actually working on a 3rd book project, but was unable to get it complete in time for submission. So that would have been my 3rd one, which would have been published this month, actually, if I'd just gotten it in on time, but unfortunately I was unable to. I wasn't able to get the sourcing that I needed for it, so yeah. Epstein's much more interesting than some phony professor. What's interesting about Epstein? There's nothing new. We know everything that's being revealed. And a lot of it's just supposition, trying to say David Copperfield is a dirty and all these other people dirty. There's a big difference between having visited the private island and have participated in the shenanigans, which doesn't seem to be falling on many ears this time. People just want to say Epstein and guilt. I need a little more evidence than that than simple, hearsay. Not saying that anyone that went there was innocent. I'm just saying I need a little bit more information than that to start leveling allegations at people. We've got the Claudine Gay issue. We've got Secretary of Defense General Lloyd Austin missing in action. No one knows where he's at. Where's Waldo is the argument at the Department of Defense right now. Who's running the Department of Defense? It's a good question. We're really lost on that one. Jacob Zuma in South Africa, standing up for his new party, Umkhonto we Sizwe, the Spear of the Nation. Of course, this is a play on the so-called Liberation Group, also a terrorist organization known as MK, Umkhonto we Sizwe, during the liberation struggle. And getting a little bit of a tiff with his party, the African National Congress. Interesting fellow, that Jacob Zuma. He says he is not voting for the ANC, but he's not withdrawing from the party. He'll vote for his new party, and that is interesting to say the least. So that's Jacob Zuma. What are you going to say? The private mission to the moon is in jeopardy after a massive leak of propellant, apparently. It's unclear what really happened here. But that launch from United Launch Alliance, which includes Boeing, unless that's changed, that thing went up last night, almost 24 hours ago. And then after it got past the point where they had an intentional blackout of communications because of the Earth's rotation and where it was in the ionosphere, after it regained communication with the ship, they found out it was losing propellant and not going to have enough fuel to complete its mission, potentially. Now, the other problem is that apparently it was supposed to draw a solar panel from the sun while en route, and they had to reorient the rocket in order to get it, or this craft to get it in the right position. They did manage to do that, and the batteries are fully charged. But it raised a very good question, folks. It raised a very good question. Why was this craft launched with solar-powered batteries that weren't fully charged? Were they an explosive concern before the thing was launched? I mean, honestly, it's a good question. Why wouldn't there be fully charged batteries before it even went into space? So you'd have power to rotate so you could get to those sun rays in space. I mean, it seems like a fair question. Obviously, there's probably a very good answer for it, but it does make you scratch your head. But United Launch Alliance has never launched this Vulcan rocket successfully. It's the first time it was a successful launch. It went up, and now it's having problems. This one is full of human remains, which the Navajo apparently took issue with. It also has a lander for the moon. The United States has not landed on the moon since 1972. And this won't be manned. That will be coming next year with the Artemis mission. But anyway, it looks like Arctic was at the Kennedy Space Center. Wow. Were you there for 2 o'clock in the morning for the launch? It must have been incredible to see. Could have used Could have used too much battery during launch. Why is it using battery during launch instead of peroxide or liquid nitrogen or whatever it is that they're propelling it with? I mean, they don't use batteries to launch. It'd be a heck of a battery, wouldn't it? In order to get that lift and that acceleration to escape Earth's gravity. It takes a lot of mojo to get up there. So do I from Harvard. Show the plagiarism. Was there after... Oh, you were there after lunch. Well, shame you weren't there for the launch at 2 o'clock in the morning. Actually went at 3, I think. I was going to cover that launch, but in the end, I'm like, nope. 3 o'clock in the morning, I got a medical appointment. I need to be fresh for that, so I skipped it. Brett Sessom is saying he's watching only a movie, Only the Brave. It's about the 100th Infantry Division, 442nd Infantry Division, World War II. Is that in the Sicily campaign? Brett, interesting. I'm not familiar with that movie. But yeah, so we've got Jay-Z, we've got Israel justifying, or excuse me, South Africa justifying why it's taking Israel to the International Court of Justice. Again, folks, let's be very clear about this. The International Court of Justice has no jurisdiction on this matter. It is not a court that is set up to try crimes against humanity or genocide or war crimes. It is a court set up to settle disputes between states in the sovereign system of states, the Westphalian system of states that we live under. And that's its purpose. That's its role. Not for South Africa to callously take Israel to court, accusing them of genocide. Now, the ANC, for some reason, wants to distract from its pervasive failures at home, the lack of electricity, the corruption, the 80-plus murders per day that take place in South Africa. Just another story we're going to talk about here. A woman shot to death in Durban in her car. I saw another one in Strand yesterday. This is an epidemic of crime that's out of control. It is not even the Wild West. It's beyond the Wild West. It's like Escape from New York. I'm waiting for Snake Plissken to rappel into the city to save the residents of South Africa. Honestly, it is beyond out of control. The state of personal security in South Africa is off the charts dangerous. It is a very scary place for people to live in today. And I say this from a position of great admiration and love for South Africa, and not to denigrate the country. It's heartbreaking to see this sort of crime, as it is heartbreaking to see the behavior of many Americans here in the U.S. who simply steal from stores with impunity, who commit all kinds of crimes. And we even have clowns who lunge over the bench to attack a judge who's about to sentence them for beating up a woman. And what does he do? He tries to beat up a woman who's a judge. These people are raised by wolves. Their morals are completely lacking. Their right and wrong mechanism is completely broken. And it's the fault of society. We are all at fault in this for allowing this garbage to exist in our nation. It is unbelievable. South Africans are ahead of us. They're on the fast train to hell, to Hades, and we're following right behind them. In South Africa, it started with this nonsense of fees must fall, and the concept that certain people are entitled to advantage. The excuse was because they were previously disadvantaged. People who are born after 1994 are not previously disadvantaged. They are born free. And if they are disadvantaged, it's because of one reason, because of the ruling party and its inability to manage a market-based economy to prevent oligarchies and monopolies and to prevent the pilfering of state funds while facilitating a level playing field for everyone. That is not the history of the African National Congress. If anything, it's a history of necklacing, political assassination, murders, civil war in KwaZulu-Natal in the early 1990s, the late 1980s, and then it's corrupt governance from at least 2003 going forward. Massive theft, pilfering of state funds, one scandal after another, and now we see another scandal, potential scandal, which he denies, and he is entitled to the presumption of innocence, at least in my mind, until found guilty. In this case, because I've not seen enough information, I've not listened to recordings, but Education Minister, the Communist, former Secretary General of the Communist Party of South Africa, Blade Nsamande, is now embroiled in a scandal in which they claim to have recordings that say that he received payoffs. This comes as absolutely no surprise or shock to anyone. Yet we see the level of nonsense is taking place. Now, let me put this in the South African context before I come back to American. In the South African context, the tweets that I've been seeing on Twitter this week continue to ratchet up to what is, under South African laws, becoming a crime. You are not allowed to commit criminal injuria on social media against South Africans, and I see people all the time being called racist. I'm very careful about that. I'll say racist much. It's a rhetorical question, as if, do you believe that? And then I'll say, race hustling, because race hustling is very different than calling someone a racist. You don't have to be a racist to race hustle. You just have to be a huckster to race hustle. And so a lot of South Africans are not being very careful. They're flat out calling people racist. I've been called a racist by South Africans on Twitter, and that is actionable. I could file a criminal case for criminal injury against any of these clowns at a police station in South Africa. And, if certain people get up, guess what? I will on my next trip. Good luck with that. Anyway, yeah. Hendo was going to bed. We woke him up. Well, hang around there, Hendo. Good to see you there. Light Rain, welcome to you. He was in front of that judge today with a full Hannibal. I saw that. He looked like Hannibal Lecter, didn't he? So today he was sentenced. He got his original sentence for assault on that woman, which is 4 years. And, of course, she cannot preside in the coming trial for him for his assault on the judge. He's got like 11 or 13 additional charges. That guy's going to jail for a long time. He would have spent 4 years in jail. Now he's probably going to spend 20 years in jail. What a brain dead idiot. Yeah. SAPs can't even enforce drunk driving laws. Good luck with that. Well, I didn't say I expected an outcome there, Arctic. Just going to clog up the system with a police report. Well, if I went to the South African Human Rights Commission and wore blackface, I probably could get them to pursue a charge against somebody just claiming that I've been oppressed. Hey, Martin, how's it going? We know how the captured South African Human Rights Commission is. By the way, folks, I think it's time for me on my other channel to start getting guests back on. I've been a little reticent to do that lately. I should start inviting people to come back on the program. I haven't done any interviews of late. It's been a while. I think about a month since I've been the last interview, and I've only done a few since July, since August, I should say. September, the only interviews I was doing in September were with Nas Botha, and of course that was all screwed up by some leftist hate wanker, self-pleasuring clown who made fraudulent statements. But you got to love it. Put money on him being pardoned within 5 years. Well, you never know. You never know. It's possible. They run all systems from batteries after they disconnect from ground power, so nav computers. Ah, gotcha. All right. So you're saying that the batteries that operate the computers for navigation, flight control, and for releasing the booster rockets, all of that are run by batteries, and they didn't have enough charge to get into space? Man, I'll tell you what, they need to stop buying Rayovacs and start buying those Everready, those Duracells, those batteries that actually last. Maybe they should get some batteries from Elon Musk and Tesla. I'm just saying, Arctic, I'm just saying. No, you make a good point. The batteries are running the avionics and such in there. Yep. This is truly an intimate evening here. Just 8 people watching the broadcast. I probably know all of you very well who are watching it. Thanks for tuning in. It's not the right hour for this in South Africa, and I did announce this, and so even my U.S. audience doesn't know where to find this unless they're in one of the groups. Yeah, because this channel's been forgotten about. Hey, I just saw 2 more people join. Good evening, folks. Welcome for joining us here. First launch, man. Those Indian batteries didn't include warranty. I didn't know they made batteries in India. That's interesting. They make ships there. They break them apart, that's for sure. Yeah, so what else we got here? I want to read an op-ed about Claudine Gay. A very good one here. And it's in the Journal. This is by Josh Hammer. And he said, the trials and tribulations of Claudine Gay, the former president of Harvard University who resigned this week after being exposed as both a Jew-hatred apologist, and a serial plagiarist, perfectly exposes America's cultural divide. To the right, she's the embodiment of the woke ideology and the DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion regime. A ruthless careerist who knifed fellow black scholars in the back during her institutional ladder climbing, a middling intellectual who's never advanced meaningful scholarship and has never even published a book under her name. And someone who, a la Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, was transparently picked solely due to checking some identity boxes. To the left, she is a martyr par excellence, a black woman in a position of high prominence who came under withering assault from hidebound racists and whose defenestation should, a la George Floyd's death in May 2020, bring about a broader racial reckoning about America's continued shortcomings and injustice. The latter narrative, dutifully peddled by Gay herself in both her shameful resignation letter and a New York Times op-ed a day later, is wrong. That narrative is woefully out of touch with the common sense sentiments of the American people, who correctly value merit and excellence, now dismissed by our decadent elites as anachronistic at best or as vestiges of white supremacy at worst, over the zero-sum identitarian scraps offered by the DEI regime. Claudine Gay is no martyr. In fact, Gay managed to maintain her sinecure, boy, this guy likes big words, sinecure over 3 weeks longer than did Liz McGill, who resigned her perch as president of the University of Pennsylvania within days of the leader's disgraceful, morally bankrupt congressional testimony on December 5th, the most viewed in the history of the United States Congress, in which the ladies smirked their way through rigorous bipartisan questioning and refused to unequivocally denounce on-campus calls for Jewish genocide. If anything, it is dispiriting that it took a massive additional plagiarism scandal exposed by intrepid investigative journalists such as Chris Rufo and Aaron Sirbarium to attain the justice that should have resulted from Gay's mere refusal to adequately protect Harvard's Jews at a time of skyrocketing global anti-Semitism. However, I will correct this op-ed piece here, and it says that it was the intrepid journalism of Chris Rufo. No, it wasn't. This story broke before Rufo. This story was in the New York Post. This story has been talked about for a long time. Maybe their focus on it brought more attention to it. after her abysmal performance in front of Congress, but she wasn't scalped by Chris Rufo, as he claims. As Senator J.D. Vance, Republican of Ohio, tweeted, the most important point about Claudine Gay's saga isn't that she resigned after facing intense scrutiny, but that she had the job, the most prestigious job in higher education, after an extremely thin record of accomplishment in the first place. That's exactly what I've been saying. That is indeed the real scandal. The fact that a comically underqualified serial plagiarist who cannot condemn calls for Jewish genocide and cannot accept any criticism without immediately attributing to racism attained the presidency of Harvard University should indeed lead to a national conversation and soul-searching, albeit not the kind of racial reckoning conversation the left now desires. That necessary conversation about the absurdities of the DEI catechism, however, would require honesty, good faith, and where's everybody going? Wow, we were at 14 people a moment ago. Suddenly I'm at 7. What's going on here? What is going on here? Wow. Are people getting cut off, or are they just like tuned off because they don't want to hear this? That is fascinating to watch this go from 14 down to 6 in just a second. Now we're back up to 8. Weird. Anyway, where was I at here? The comically underqualified serial plagiarist who cannot condemn calls for Jewish genocide and cannot accept any criticism without immediately attributing to racism attaining the presidency of Harvard should indeed lead to a national conversation. Anyway, however, this will require honesty, good faith, and informed patriotism from all participants. Alas, it isn't there. Gay is undoubtedly a nice scalp for the forces of civilizational sanity in our roiling culture war against the aggressor forces of civilizational arson. Wow, this guy really likes prose. But unless broader changes are made, beginning by no means ending with the Harvard Corporation that exercises board oversight duties, Gay's departure will end up more symbolic than meaningful. Gay demonstrated neither contrition nor self-awareness in her resignation letter and Times op-ed. And there's no reason for thinking the university is engaged in self-reflection about its role in pushing the DEI cancer. Unless and until Harvard indicates it has learned any of the proper lessons from the saga of its shortest tenure president in its 387-plus year institutional history, aspiring matriculants should withhold their applications, donors should withhold their checkbooks, and taxpayers should not contribute a penny. Well, I agree with him on this one. Ultimately, the civilizational struggle against the DEI regime and the broader effort to restore common sense values such as merit, industry, and excellence to their proper place necessitates a sprawling grassroots national effort. Salutary one-off developments such as the resignation of a high-ranking Jew hatred apologist and serial plagiarist are meaningful for energizing the masses, but that energy must be properly channeled. In the political arena, that means freezing the hiring of DEI bureaucrats on public university campuses, as Wisconsin has done, or better yet, fully implementing the bureaucracies as states like Florida and Texas have done, fully eliminating. Similar pressure should be applied on corporations, some of which seem to be heading in the right direction. Google, for instance, has slashed DEI-related job postings from 20 to 30% year over year. Yeah, but we can't rest on our laurels here. And this is an op-ed from Josh Hammer, and he's right, but it needs to go a lot further than that. That's not sufficient, folks. First launch. Okay, what's this? I think Israel is justly founded. There is never a nation. Okay, really sad to see full Madonna Sela defend Clay. Yeah, it is. I see many, if not all, the YouTube content creators I follow saying their views and revenue are down 80% from 2020. Yeah, mine is down further. Yeah, no, that's true, Arctic. Look, I never said that I was a lone wolf out here that's suffering, but it's clear that my channel gets suppressed. I mean, and the perfect example of this is, and look, you tell me, you watch the videos, go watch the 360 Experience's 30-minute video about Gate McKenzie at the border in South Africa, and go watch my 6.5-minute video, and tell me if you think mine isn't as good as his, or if you think mine is better, and compare them. That's your view. I'm asking you that independently. I would argue that my video is good or better than his and more interesting and certainly more concise, but his had 13,000 views in 12 hours, and mine after, I can't get to it now, it's on a different channel, but mine after 3 or 4 days doesn't even have 1,000 views on it. It was stuck at 300 for a while, finally went to 700. Yeah, so, no, you're right. YouTube is a dying platform because of the censorship and the distrust that it's caused, not to mention its rules. Again, I have monetized my content on my main channel, not because I'm looking for money, although I don't mind money. I'll take it. But my point is that was not the primary motivation. The primary motivation was after getting some good advice from Byron Shepard of Morning Shot. He said, Chris, one of the reasons why YouTube isn't promoting your content anymore isn't just the shadow banning, but it's because you don't give an opportunity to make money off your content. And he said, they're going to do it anyway. And I said, yeah, you're right. Pretty soon it's going to be automatic. YouTube will make money off every video, whether you want to or not. Even non-monetized channels will have advertising this year because YouTube is going to put ads on it and they get 100% of the revenue, not 30% or not 45%. So it was a battle that had to be given up. And so I gave up the battle of not monetizing my content. However, I do stick by, and it costs me views. Anytime I cover a farm murder or some kind of gore like that, I do not monetize those videos. I don't want to profit from other people's horror and misery. I do want the world to know about it. And so I take that risk that it doesn't get coverage. But it's not like, I mean, I'm getting 50,000 views and I'm only going to get 3,000. I'd be happy to get 3,000 on any video these days. So exactly, Arctic. My video does not show on your watch, even though you're subscribed, and I suspect you have all notifications listed. You don't get notified, and you have to go look for my channel. That's the problem. Fully 3/4 of the views people get or more come from the watch channel. Even if you're subscribed, like, for instance, Morning Shot created Retardistan, and when I opened my YouTube page this morning, they were there. But Morning Shot, the channel itself, never shows up, even though I have all notifications, never shows up on my watch page. That's shadow banning. They know, I mean, even when I used to watch that show every time it came on, I never got recommendations. And these days, half the time I don't get recommendations from Ronaldo. It's just, that's the way they get it. I get recommendations from other channels I watched videos for 2 years ago. Exactly. Well, let me look right now and see what I get for recommendations on this channel. So let me go, because this account is from 2006 that we're currently on, and it was censored for a couple years. So I've got the Conservative Twins. I haven't looked at that in 2 years. Maestro Zikos, I have looked at him because he did the Merry Christmas Sleepy Joe. Remember that? And then Officer Tatum. Yep. And I don't even know who these other people are. Yep. There's Ronaldo. He's mentioned on here. Katie Hopkins. Okay. Facts Matter with Roman Balmakov. I don't watch him, but I did subscribe to him. Green Day. I don't listen to Green Day at all. I don't know why that recommendation is there. Timcast is here. Okay. And Space Flight Now, which is a channel that I watch. Kurt Darren. Morning Shot. Okay, here it is on this account. Morning Shot. I haven't seen this video on my main account. It doesn't get recommended. This one's from 12 days ago when they talked to Sakaliga, whoever that is. Yeah. Afrikaans is goed. That's on here. Fox News, even though I don't watch Fox News. ENCA. Jordan Peterson. Yeah, so this one is showing me some stuff that I actually have an interest in. But YouTube got, what is that? YouTube got what? I reckon YouTube shot themselves in the foot by banning right-leaning accounts. If you remember the dollars people were throwing at those channels. Oh, I remember, Arctic. I used to make a buttload of money. I mean, not a lot of money. It wouldn't have been enough to live off of. But, I mean, my channel, at one time in 2020, before the censorship and the shadow banning began in earnest on my channel, I was making over 50,000 Rand a month. 50,000 Rand a month from YouTube alone. Yeah, man, I'd be lucky if I make a few thousand Rand a month now. Yeah, and whatever. That I'm not complaining about that, but we're just talking about YouTube. Right? Remember the Trump rallies leading up to 20? Anybody streaming those were making big bucks. Yeah, I didn't stream his rallies. I should have done that. I did stream a few of them later on, but yeah. But I wasn't making money from that. I was making money from my videos on South Africa. And the revenue per minute watched for foreign countries is much lower. The only ones that are relatively high are like UK. But my videos watched by South Africans make on average 1/10 of what a video watched by an American is. And quite frankly, I could easily just abandon my coverage of Africa and South Africa and focus on the U.S., where, I mean, I'm a political scientist. I know our Constitution. I've served. I have the strategic chops. I've done it all. I could do that and focus on that, and odds are I'd get more money tossed my way. But my commitment to what I'm doing is hanging in there. So many creators are revamping their look, feel, and content. Well, I've done many different things, Arctic. If you may or may not have noticed over the time, I've taken my program. I wasn't doing news initially. I switched to a news format to do a daily news, and then supplemented that. I had a Night Owls program that was highly successful, but then after COVID died off, the people went back to work. Those programs didn't get big enough viewing into for me to do it every day. Also, I tried long form videos. I started with 20-minute videos of analysis when I first started doing my stuff, and that was okay, but I noticed that people stopped watching after about 6 or 8 minutes. Then I did 10-minute videos. Then I did 3-minute videos. And then I did 6-minute videos. And, it takes a lot of work to put content of value into it. You don't just sit around and just start talking, although I can do that and do it effectively. You want to have good content. I have bought software and put animation, put video, added all kinds of things in my video. I've tried different hours of the day. I've tried everything. Look at the time I'm on right now. But YouTube hides my content and it hides my channel, and that's just dishonest. That's a violation of the terms and conditions that I agree to with them. That's willfully harming my channel, and I don't know why they're so terrified. They're really frightened of me. I mean, I'm just a 50-some-year-old dude who have served his country honorably and faithfully and protected and helped people around the globe. What are they so frightened of? I don't stand out for anyone over anyone else. I stand out for everyone being treated fairly and equally and having the same opportunity to succeed or fail. And that's really frightens them. They don't like that. They don't like equality of opportunity. They want equality of misery. They want equity of misery. So yeah, make more from USA. Yeah, well, it'd be nice, but this channel keeps getting viewers taken away. I mean, it had 23,000 when it was sent into the gulag in April of 2021, and it sat in the gulag for 23 months when it came back. Now, bear in mind that if a channel disappears, you cannot unsubscribe from it. It's not like you have a list of all the channels you subscribe and go, oh, I'm going to unsubscribe. No. So in theory, I should have the exact same number of subscribers unless those accounts disappeared from YouTube, which is possible. But 2 years later, I had 2,000 less subscribers. Now, I'm not going to accuse YouTube of anything because that could very well have been that I had a bunch of bots. Because remember back in the time, people were creating bot accounts and subscribing to channels. There may have been a few thousand bot channels on it. So let's just start with when the channel was restored almost a year ago. I started with 21,500, and then I gained about 300 subscribers because I mentioned it to those on the new channel who didn't know about my original channel because it disappeared before they heard of me. And about 300 people came over. So I shot up to 21,800. Since March, 10 months ago, I've now declined by over 1,300 or 400, 1,400 subscribers. And they take them away every day. And on my other channel, in late December, we hit 13,753, the peak on that channel. And now we're dropped down to almost 13,700. Every day they take subscribers away. It's, I don't know if it's an algorithm or what they do, but it's just, anyway. Arctic misses the bots. I don't. Yeah, it could also have been YouTube trying to promote up channels during the entice creators. It could be Arctic. That's a very real possibility. But, giving me 2,000 fake subscribers doesn't entice me because I was gaining consistently. And I still have over 20,000 of those subscribers on this channel. Even if that was the case, I have 20,437 subscribers on this channel. Still here. What's interesting is that of those 20,000, nobody gets notified of this broadcast. And a lot of those people are actually in the States. So it is interesting. So whatever, it is what it is. I know that's a trite phrase, and I apologize for using it, but what are you going to say? It's difficult to say the least. Let me check my messages because I was getting a bunch of messages earlier. I think I have another one here. I'm going to check on this real quick and see what this is. I had some important message come in. Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay, that's what that was. Okay, I think we're done. People aren't sending me anything else now. But I was getting a bunch of messages earlier this evening about something going on here. So, yeah, we had a big snowstorm here for those of you watching it, but the snow is almost completely gone. The weather rose about 10 degrees above freezing here in central Pennsylvania. Most have melted. Now, I think I mentioned to all you that the solar panels that they put on my house, they're thinner than my neighbor who's got his 48 panels on the back of his house, also facing to the west. We have clear views of the sun on the west, both of us. And then because of the nature of this development, kind of like an oval shape with houses behind us, but big gaps between us. And so there's no trees and obstructing the view. So his panels were still covered with snow the next day. My panels that evening, when it started to rain, the rain began to melt the snow and it made it heavy and it slid right. It's at a 43-degree angle. So it slid off and you could hear while I was still broadcasting late in the afternoon when it snowed the other day, as the snow came off the roof and fell about 3 about 4 meters, maybe 5 meters. It fell about 5 meters down, boof, from the roof and hit the backyard in big clumps of mush and slush. But the next morning, my panels were free of solar, and they generated some juice. Today was pretty good, even though we had clouds. I got, was it 15? Not bad for this, 17.5 kilowatt hours, which is about what I use in a day, so it's a break even. Not looking forward to leaving Florida this weekend to go north. Oh, stop being a wuss. Come on, Arctic. It's just cold weather. You'll love it. Or are you worried about the snow and rain? Hey, listen, I know you're not flying a Boeing 737 MAX. My goodness. Arctic, have you noticed that? My goodness, that's another story we need to talk about here, is those aircraft, United grounded theirs and started looking. They found a bunch of bolts loose in that emergency hatch. Whew. Guess what? Apparently, Alaska Airlines is now reporting that other aircraft, the ones they've grounded, they're also finding loose bolts. This is not good. Isn't the 737 MAX, isn't that the one that's autopilot crashed in Ethiopia, killing all those people? And they had a previous crash before that. Oof. The dude not having to stand outside to pre-flight the aircraft. Well, pilots should do pre-flight. That's been my experience growing up with aviation. Pilots supposed to do pre-flight. Yeah, anyway. So, yeah, no, that's a pretty harrowing thing. And then, of course, there was the testimony that went on. This guy, I don't know the veracity of it, but he claimed to have been a passenger scheduled for that flight in one of those two seats that went right out of the aircraft. Remember the Alaska Hawaii Hawaii Airlines flight? Let me see. When was that? Was it in the 80s or 90s? HAWA Airlines flight. I don't know how to write this down. I say passenger sucked out. Aloha Airlines flight 243. That's what it was. Sorry. Aloha Airlines flight. It was 1988. Aloha Airlines flight 283, flight between Hilo and Honolulu on April 28th, 1988. A Boeing 737-297 serving the flight suffered extensive damage after an explosive decompression in flight caused by the fuselage breaking due to poor maintenance and metal fatigue. It was able to land at the airport in Maui. The one fatality, flight attendant Clarabelle Lansing, was ejected from the airplane. Another 65 passengers and crew were injured. The substantial damage inflicted by the decompression, the loss of one cabin crew member, and the safe landing of the aircraft established incident as a significant event in the history of aviation with far-reaching effects on aviation safety. It was the 152nd Boeing 737 airframe built at the Renton Assembly Plant. Anyway, the aftermath. They never did find her body. Yep. Let me see what it says, where it talks about that. The only fatality was that a 58-year-old flight attendant, Clarabelle C.B. Lansing, was swept out of the aircraft while standing near the fifth row seats. Her body was never found. She was a flight attendant of 37 years at the time of the incident. Wow. My goodness. Folks, let me see if I can get this picture to come up on the screen. This plane landed. Hang on a second. Let me, here you go. That's the plane from 1988, Aloha Airways. Look at that. Good God. How in the world did that land? Yeah, I heard the black box was completely erased. That's shocking. MAX 9 is now showing door issues. Funny because I'm pretty sure it's the same door they've been using for 40 years. The MAX 8. Okay, yeah, it wasn't the 9. It was the 8. Thank you. The MCAS. That's right. Yep. Did I know the Hawaiian flight, nobody told the pilots half the plane was missing? Wow. I didn't know that. I just remember this happening. It was horrific. In 1988, I had gone back to the States. I'd just flown to the States in 87 to go back to college. And here this is in 88. And I'm like, good God. Yeah, so here it is, another angle on this thing. You can see it from the other side. This is truly horrific. Can you imagine how frightening this must have been for the passengers, especially the ones seated up there in the open like that? I mean, they could have had oxygen masks. There's nothing for it to fall from. The roof is gone. That's insane. Absolutely insane. They don't build buildings like that anymore. I'm glad they don't build buildings like that anymore. Good Lord. That's pretty frightening. I'll never forget. It wasn't Alaskan Air. It was Aloha Airways. Yeah. Here you go. Here's another shot of the aircraft from the side. Look at that. Man, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. I'll never forget that. I mean, can you imagine? That's just got to be really frightening stuff. Wow. The incident aircraft was line number 152. All 737s constructed after line number 291 include an additional outer layer of skin or doubter sheet at the lap point of the fuselage. In this aircraft, the doubler sheet was not used. The National Transportation Safety Board investigation determined the quality of inspection and maintenance programs was deficient. Fuselage examinations were scheduled during the night, which made carrying out an adequate inspection of the outer skin more difficult. Also, the fuselage failure initiated in the lap joint. Anyway, it gets more complicated there. Wow. United Airlines Flight 811, a similar incident in Hawaii with explosive decompression caused 9 passengers to be ejected from the aircraft, but the crew was able to perform a landing. Yep. Wow. Yeah, let's look at that one. United Airlines Flight 811, that was 89. Yeah, I remember this one too. Man, oh man, this is crazy too. Look at this. Yeah, this is United Airlines flight. Whew. Man, oh man. Metal fatigue, short hops between the islands, kind of like Joe Burt. Yeah, no doubt, and lots of those things. Hey, Matthew Dixon's here. Yeah. Was a regularly scheduled flight from Los Angeles to Sydney with intermediate stops in Honolulu. It's a 747. Yep. And Auckland. On February 24th, 1989, the Boeing 747-122 serving the flight experienced a cargo door failure in flight shortly after leaving Honolulu. Resulting explosive decompression blew out several rows of seats, killing 9 passengers. My goodness. The pilots believed that a bomb had gone off inside the airliner as the accident happened just 2 months after Pan Am Flight 103. My goodness. It doesn't say anything about the people who died. Cargo door was recovered by a manned deep-sea submersible, the Seacliff. Wow. I'm trying to see what it says about the people who died. 9 people. Doesn't say anything. 9 fatalities. 747. And not the only ones, folks. We had the Far Eastern Transport disintegrated midair. Yep. So Far Eastern Air Transport Flight 103 in 1981 disintegrated in midair. Metal fatigue, cracking, and severe corrosion leading to excessive decompression, in-flight breakup. Wow. Taiwan. 110 people on the plane and 110 fatalities. Wow. 2 from the U.S., 82 from Taiwan, 18 from Japan. Yep. The aircraft had previously lost cabin pressure on August 5th, earlier in the day. Sounds a lot like this Alaska Airlines flight. It previously lost pressure. Pressurization was a problem. Yeah. The Boeing 737-222 aircraft disintegrated midair and crashed into the township of Sanyoi. It's also called the Sanyoi Air Disaster. Crashed the 3rd deadliest aviation accident on the Taiwanese soil, leaving behind Chinese Airlines Flight 676 and Chinese Airlines Flight 611. Although early speculation indicated the crash was caused by explosive device, investigation by Republic of China Civil Aviation Board concluded that severe corrosion led to pressure hull rupture. Severe corrosion was due to many pressurization flight cycles the aircraft experienced, and that cracks produced were probably undetected. What else? Yeah, anyway, so there you go. Pretty stuff. At least we can settle the Samsung versus iPhone debate. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that 2 of the phones, well, not undamaged. One has got a broken firewire cable, but yes, they were functioning. The battery is still working, so they're able to recover them. That's pretty crazy. Keep the seatbelts on. We don't need the light on because we were bored. Yeah, no, it's true, Arctic. I'm with you. I said that on the flight, or not flight, on the show. You weren't there. I told people, I said, listen, when you are not up and about and moving somewhere in the cabin, whenever you're seated, put your seatbelt on. Pray that it's bolted down to the fuselage well, but put your seatbelt on. Otherwise, you get sucked out for decompression. Hey, good morning, Allison. How's it going? We traced it back to metal fatigue due to short hops. Yep, same thing with that one I just talked about. Yeah, they found that was my question. Are they iPhones or Samsungs? We didn't know what they were earlier today. So they're iPhones, huh? So the Chinese are making them durable. Yeah, the Max 9 is showing door issues. That's not good. That's not good. Oh, not good stuff. I'll tell you, I was on a flight from Newark, or from Lisbon to Newark on Continental, and This was around the time that the flight in San Diego on an Airbus 320, I think it was. I'm trying to remember which model it was. But they couldn't get the landing gear to extend. So they flew around burning up fuel, and then the pilot landed it on its nose, and people were like amazed. But aviation experts said that's what pilots are trained to do from the civil aviation. They're supposed to be able to do that. And it was amazing watching it come in on its nose, and it just slid right down the runway, perfectly down the line. Fire crews came out. Now, that happened a few months after I'd been on the flight from Lisbon to Newark, and we took off, and we flew, and it felt kind of odd. I'm like, it seems like we've turned and headed back in the other direction. It was a gradual one, so not the flight and the passengers, but it turns out that on takeoff, they couldn't retract the landing gear from the front nose. It wouldn't come back. So the landing gear would not retract. Well, you can't fly across the Atlantic at 30,000 feet. I mean, there'll be no tensile strength on that landing gear. It'll collapse like an ME-262 Messerschmitt. It will collapse on landing and just fracture and shatter and go every which way. So they couldn't go above 10,000 feet. And then they flew around as much as they could without dumping fuel into the ocean. And then we came back, we landed at Lisbon. And I'll tell you, it was like that Die Hard 2 movie. The second one, when he goes to D.C. and it's Christmas time and all the snow's out there. And when the plane comes in and lands with John McClane's wife, there's every fire truck in Northern Virginia and the District of Columbia is out there on the flight line as that plane comes. It was the same thing in Lisbon. Every emergency service vehicle in the city of Lisbon was at the airport. I mean, there were dozens of fire trucks and ambulances and lights flashing. It was like being in the Die Hard movie, except there was no snow. And when we landed, that plane was still pretty darn heavy, ladies and gentlemen. We went all the way to the end of the runway, which goes off into like a marsh area at the time, at least where we came in at. And it was not many meters between us and going through the fence line and out into whatever that was when we came to complete stop. Well, I was in an exit row, and they had me put out the ramp, and then they stopped us from going down. The firefighters wouldn't let us go down, and then we sat on the plane for several minutes, and they finally brought a ramp up to the main exit, and then we all exited out the front and walked down the stairs. So we didn't get to slide down, got to pull them, but never got to slide. That was a wild experience. Yeah. So whenever I'm on a flight and I'm in the emergency exit and they're like, are you able to? I'm like, heck yeah, I'm able. I'm not only am I able, I've done it. And then the flight attendant's like, what? Yeah, I've done it before. Arctic says you can fly with gear down at any altitude, but you got to stay below 250 knots, and it's aerodynamic, so your fuel burn doubles. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want them burning all that fuel flying across the Atlantic several thousand miles. And so you're telling me that at minus 80 or 90 degrees Fahrenheit at 38,000 feet, that doesn't affect the tensile strength of the metal in the landing gear? Is that what you're saying, Arctic? Yep, we got a gear up landing checklist. Last step. Yeah, don't screw up. Yep. At least we can settle. Yeah, okay. You can fly with gear down any altitude, but you got to stay below 200. Yeah. Yeah, flying that slow means you're lumbering at a big aircraft like that, and you're really got a heavy fuel burn. So we came back and landed. And that was just a disaster. Oh, they screwed up. They kept us in the airport. Everything was closed. They gave us a voucher for food. We couldn't buy food. It wasn't enough to buy. I had no euros left. They wouldn't take credit cards in the airport. Can you believe that? It was unbelievable. When was this? It's about 20 years ago. Yeah. When I worked at Defense Intelligence Agency. It must have been about 2005. Yeah. It must have been around that time. Yeah. It was crazy. Tensile strength in the air is not a problem. No, it's not, because you're not using it. But when you land, should warm up as it drops to low altitude. Really? All right. Well, I'll take you guys' word for it. So you're telling me that flying at 38,000 feet across the Atlantic at minus 69 degrees Fahrenheit is not going to have any impact on that metal or that tire when you land? No altitude limit, but chances are you aren't going to get above 20,000 feet due to drag. Well, okay, that makes sense, Arctic. All right, okay. Well, then my supposition is invalid, but my point was still valid that you can't fly with that plane across the Atlantic. It just ain't going to happen. Flaps are limited to 20,000 feet, just they don't want to test it above that. Okay. Huh. Well, that's interesting. All I know is that the problem was they couldn't retract the landing gear, and then on the same Airbus model that landed in San Diego, let me see which one it was. Pilot lands. Shoot, lands. Come on. Where's the pilot lands without landing gear? Let me see. That's it. In San Diego. Let's see. I think it was San Diego. This is old, so it's not showing me that. Delta flight, that's in 2023. No, I'm going back. I'm trying to get back. Well, these aren't going old enough, far enough back. 2016. Was it San Jose? Is that the one? Let me see. Maybe it's San Jose. Yeah, there it is. It's 2005. It was a JetBlue flight. That's it. I said 2005. Yeah. Hang on. That's not it. That's San Jose. So here it is. Yeah, there it is. The JetBlue Flight 292 scheduled from Bob Hope to JFK on September 21st, 2005. Captain Scott Burke executed emergency landing at Los Angeles International Airport after nose gear jammed in an abnormal position. No one was injured. Carrying 140 passengers and crew, they departed Burbank 317, aircraft built in 2002. After takeoff, pilots could not retract the landing gear. They then flew low over Long Beach to allow officials in the airport's control tower to assess the damaged landing gear before attempting a landing. It was found that the nose wheel had rotated 90 degrees to the left, perpendicular to the direction of the fuselage. Rather than land at Long Beach, the pilot in command diverted to LA International, LAX, in order to take advantage of its long, wide runways and modern safety equipment. The pilots flew the aircraft, which can carry 46,860 pounds of aviation fuel, in a figure-8 pattern between Bob Hope and LAX for more than 2 hours in order to burn fuel and lower the risk of fire upon landing. It also served to lighten the plane, reducing potential stress on landing gear and dramatically lowering landing speed as well. The Airbus A320 does not have a mechanical ability to dump fuel, despite various news agencies reporting the aircraft was doing so over the ocean. Because JetBlue planes are equipped with DirecTV satellite television, passengers were able to watch the live news feed of their flight while the plane circled over the Pacific for 2 hours. The in-flight video system was turned off well before landing. Actress Taryn Manning was on the flight on her way to New York to promote the film Hustle and Flow. Wow. Emergency services and fire engines were standing by LAX ramp ahead of the landing. Although foam trucks were available, they were not used. The U.S. FAA no longer recommends pre-foaming runways, chiefly due to concerns that would deplete firefighting supplies, which might be needed. Passengers began to disembark less than 7 minutes after landing. Landing was smooth. No physical injuries reported. The aircraft was evacuated via an airport stairs vehicle, as opposed to evacuation slides typically used in an emergency situation. Yep. The aircraft was towed to a Continental hangar because JetBlue wasn't using the airfield at the time. Yep. Similar instance, this was at least the 7th occurrence of an A320 series aircraft touching down with the landing gear locked 9 degrees out of position. And one of at least 67 nose wheel failures on that series of aircraft since 1989, one of which I was on. Yep. But they don't mention the Lisbon one here. Yeah, there you go. It's pretty wild. Here's a picture of it. I remember this. Yeah, here it was JetBlue. I just couldn't remember it was JetBlue. But look at that. Look at it. Can you imagine that? Woo! Yeah. Yeah, we do gear down ferry flights a lot back to maintenance bases. Boring. Okay. Went off Rome in a small plane snowstorm lane. Had to hike back to terminal. Waist deep snow. Oh my goodness, in Rome, New York. Wow. Look at that. JetBlue. I remember that. 2005. That's what I said. It was around 2005. Yep. It was Long Beach. They landed in LAX, not San Diego. For some reason, I thought it was San Diego. I remember that because I watched the live stuff when it was on the air. So, yep. Pretty wild. JetBlue. That was something else. Yeah, it's a crazy world. Oh, Katie Hopkins showed up on my feed. There you go. That's something else. Light rains. So, rural. I can't read what this says. Rural spot near something Rome. Oh, Utica, Rome. Utica, New York. That's New York. Yep. Anyway, yeah, that's Yeah, a lot of people are afraid of flying, and I never got it. But as I get older, I kind of get why they might be afraid of flying. Good Lord, that's pretty scary stuff there. Yeah, no, I've had some pretty rough landings with planes, that's for sure. People are disappearing again. What's going on? You guys don't want to hear about the aviation disasters? Anyway, yeah, so I just thought to do a night owls tonight here on this channel, chat with folks, since I didn't do my normal broadcast over on the other channel. I did do a news stream yesterday or today, but it was early in the morning because I had those medical appointments. So, yep. Anyway, crazy stuff. So, yeah, it's interesting to hear the tensile strength. I find it shocking that metal, I mean, that must be some pretty incredible metal that it's not affected by that temperature shift. Well, yeah, it's been interesting to start aviation year, in particular that horrific situation in Japan when the Japanese Coast Guard plane ran into or was run over by that incoming was an A350, I think, that hit it. Man, all the passengers got off, but 5 of the Coast Guard flight crew died. Excuse me, what's going on here? Yeah, that was a pretty horrific start to the year for Japan, in addition to the earthquake they had. Tough break for the Japanese. It's a horrific situation. And now the snowfall is hampering rescue operations, although at this point it's been 6 days. Hope is pretty diminished for people unless they're trapped someplace where they had access to water. That was an A350. That's what I thought. Yep. A350 is a pretty good aircraft. South Africa had one, but they leased it, South African Airways, and they lost it. Had to return it to Mauritius or somebody like that actually had it. Now, I don't remember who it was, but somebody had it, so they don't have them anymore unless they've acquired another one. Yep, so with that Peregrine mission, man, that's pretty sucky. So let me go take a look and see if I can get an update on that from Twitter, because I was following Twitter earlier on the Peregrine mission. Let me see if it's here. I had it here somewhere. I'm not finding it now. Interesting. I'll have to open up another Twitter feed. Let me do that. Twitter, there we go. And what the heck is that? What's the thing called? Oh, come on. Astrobiotic. There we go. Let's see what they've got to say. They got an update here, number 5 and 6. Yeah, number 5. This is 6 hours ago. We received the first image from Peregrine in space. The camera utilized is mounted atop the payload deck and shows multi-layer insulation in the foreground. Disturbance in that insulation is the first visual clue that aligns with our telemetry data that points to a propulsion system anomaly. Nonetheless, the spacecraft's battery is now fully charged, and we are using Peregrine's existing power to perform as many payload and spacecraft operations as possible. At this time, the majority of our Peregrine mission team has been awake and working diligently for more than 24 hours. We ask for your patience as we reassess incoming data. Now, that was, as I said, from Astrobotic 6 hours ago. And then 1 hour ago, they gave update number 6. And this is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, by the way. That's where Astrobotic is at. An ongoing propellant leak is causing spacecraft's attitude control system thrusters to operate well beyond their expected service life cycles to keep the lander from an uncontrollable tumble. If the thrusters continue to operate, we believe the spacecraft could continue in a stable, sun-pointing state for approximately 40 more hours based on current fuel consumption. At this time, the goal is to get Peregrine as close to lunar distance as we can before it loses the ability to maintain its sun-pointing position and subsequently loses power. Well, that sounds like, they're tilting at windmills, that they're going to lose this thing no matter what. That's truly sad. I hope that's not the case, Astrobotic, but I'm really not sure what happened here. And I think the Navajo, I don't know if they pray to a deity, but maybe the revenge of the Navajo is coming. Montezuma's revenge is, I know Montezuma's Aztecs, not Navajo, but there's no such thing as Navajo revenge. So Montezuma's revenge. But whatever the case is, maybe the Navajo got their way and there'll be no human remains deposited. Yep, leased from Air Mauritius. That's what I said, didn't I? You said 2. I thought they owned one and they had to get rid of it and they leased the other. You're pretty well informed for your competitor there. Yep. So, Arctic, what's your favorite airframe? As a pilot, what's your favorite airframe? As a passenger, I know what mine is. I'll tell you what mine is. Blackhawk. No, I'm just kidding. As a passenger in a commercial flight, I enjoy flying in the the Dreamliner. That's pretty cool. None leased. Oh, both were leased. Okay, both leased. I didn't realize they had two of them. Maybe I was thinking about when they were down to one, but yeah. Do they have two now, or are you talking about previously? I'm talking about previously. The 737. Okay, cool. Yep. As a passenger, I'm not a big fan of 737. I've flown on lots of them. It's the workhorse to fly as a passenger. 787. Yeah, same here. 787. The Dreamliner is awesome as a passenger. I also enjoy the Airbus, the huge Airbus. What's it? The A380. The A380 as a passenger, not bad. I've flown on the A380 on Lufthansa and also with Air France, both out of Joburg. Yep. Yeah, they don't fly those anymore, but they did at one time. And I flew the Lufthansa A380 to Munich, of all places, and I flew, pre-COVID they had to have two for the New York route. Ah, gotcha. Okay, yep. Probably one coming and one going in order to keep the service going. Yeah, I enjoyed the A380 out of Joburg to Munich especially. But my favorite airport, people ask me my favorite airport, now they've got 5 A320s, yeah. The 320s are okay. The 350s are nice. My favorite airport in the world, though, hands down, the place I absolutely love going to, really enjoy the experience here, particularly in wintertime, it's really nice, is the Franz Josef Strauss Airport in Munich that's northeast of the city of Munich. Lovely airport, beautiful place, easy to deal with, and really enjoy that airport. A bit of away from town, but that's okay. I'd rather be away from town. Airports that I really don't like. I don't like Atlanta. I don't like JFK. I don't like Dulles, although it's improved a little bit, but I still hate it. The shops there suck. I don't like Detroit. Chicago's okay. O'Hare, I'm not a big fan, but it's okay. Philadelphia sucks. I don't like Philadelphia. Harrisburg is okay, but it's a tiny airport. Miami, not a fan. Tampa, it's okay. Orlando, no thanks. LaGuardia, LaGuardia sucks bad. The New York airports in general suck. Newark sucks. They all kind of suck. Now, the one that's north of New York that used to be it used to be a Air Force field. World War II Air Force field. The airport is not that great, but its location is kind of handy. Let me see. What's the name of that one? It's upstate, up the Hudson there. Newburgh. That's where it is, Newburgh. Newburgh's okay. And Norwegian Air used to fly out of Newburgh, that airport, the New York Stewart International Airport. There's not really much there, so it wasn't ideal, but it was a nice airport to get in and out of. Seattle, SeaTac is okay, not great. San Francisco, not a great airport. Los Angeles, sucky airport. What else? Tucson, nothing special. Vegas Airport, McCarran. A lot of people don't like McCarran. I have a problem with McCarran. I like that you are literally right there. Oh, you've been to Stewart. Okay, except it's spelled differently. You're using the wrong Stewart. Newark is fine if you know it. No, New York is a crap hole. Atlanta is too big. LaGuardia is terrible. What else? Here in the States for airports. Charlotte, it's okay. The one in Nashville's not bad. I don't mind the airport in Nashville. That's pretty good. There's some good shops there. It's easy to get around. I do love Schiphol. I like Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam. That one's nice. The Franz Josef Strauss Airport's pretty good. Berlin has Tegel. It has Schöndorf, something like that. And then it used to have Tempelhof. I've actually flown into Tempelhof. I'm one of the last people on Earth to fly in there as an airfield. It was still an Army air base. And I flew in on a Black Hawk helicopter. Landed, went to the Berlin Brigade, collected all the maps they had for the Balkans because they were no longer viable as a deployable unit, and loaded it all up into the plane and flew back with a plane load full of maps from Tempelhof a couple days later, all the way back to Hanau. And when I left there, and then shortly after that, my unit went to Bosnia. They were the only unit in the U.S. Army that had all the maps that they needed. They had plenty of maps. They had 1 to 50,000s. They had 1 to 250 joint operational graphics. They had 1 to 100,000s. They were set. They had the TPC's tactical pilotage charts. They had it all, and it was pretty cool. Myra, howdy. In general, USA airports aren't great, to be honest. Agreed, Arctic. I agree, 100%. They tend not to have pharmacies, which is stupid. They tend to have crappy shops, crappy choices. Yeah. I will say Newark is better than it used to be, but it's still sucky. Who else is bad? BWI is not bad. BWI is a decent airport. Yep. Easy to get around. In and out's pretty easy. Reagan National, I don't mind Reagan National at all. Just it's not an ideal spot, but it's not a bad airport. What else? I've been to Norfolk. That's nothing special. It's okay. Actually flew on September 11th, 2002. You want to know a day to go to an airport? It was September 11th, 2002. Through security, the only reason I was slow through security is because I was in fatigues because I didn't have time to change at the Naval Special Warfare Activity. I had to rush back to my flight because it ran long. And I was wearing jungle boots, which have a steel shank in them. So they set off the metal detector, so I had to strip off my boots, even though I was in uniform. But there were I think 3 people on that Boeing 737 from Southwest that flew from Newark back to BWI. It was unbelievable. Starbucks and overpriced duty-free shops, although I do like barbecue food places. I don't mind Starbucks in the airport. I just don't like their prices. And I don't shop duty-free in airports. If I do duty-free ever, it's on a plane, and that's rare. And that's not anymore. That's kind of a dying business. It used to be pretty cool. You used to have options on there, perfume and watches and, little trinkets and such, but I don't even do it anymore. I don't know what's going on. Boston Airport, no, that sucks. That airport sucks, and they have no consideration for people whose flight is delayed or that comes in late. It's terrible, terrible airport. I had to run through that airport to make my flight. It sucks. Don't have kids that demand chocolate on arrival. What, in Tempelhof? Yeah, he died and all that. Halverson died just a couple years ago, just recently. That pilot who was the guy that came up with, or the crew chief, whatever it was. I think it was a pilot, came up with that dropping candies down to the kids in Berlin at Tempelhof. Yeah, that was, they're all going, man. Just lost Sadler from the original Special Air Service. Yeah, fought in North Africa. He just died at 103. Yeah, it's a crazy world. Sucky. It's the nature of life, unfortunately, though. You come and eventually you go. Yep, that's kind of crappy stuff. Yeah, Stewart Airport, not bad. I've also been to Buffalo. Actually, that's the first airport I ever flew out of, but that was almost 50 years ago. First airport I ever flew out of my life was Buffalo, New York. When after the FBI came and picked us up in Buffalo, New York, we flew. Now, I've also been to the Air National Guard base, which I'm trying to find right now. There's Buffalo International Airport. Where's the Air National Guard? Is it up here by Niagara Falls? Is that it? Niagara Falls International Airport. That's not it. Where's it at? There's an Air National Guard base there. I know. I've been to it. There's an airfield there. I'm not seeing it. It's not showing up here. It's around Buffalo. Anyway, not seeing it there. Huh. Anyway, yeah, I first time I ever flew out of Buffalo, New York to what became Reagan National. It was just National Airport back then. Remember the was it Air Florida flight that crashed? Oof, boy. Speaking of airline disasters, yeah. So Air Florida flight. Flight 90, is that the one? Disaster on the Potomac, yeah. Yep, I don't want the film. I want the Flight 90. I don't want the film. I didn't even know they made a movie there. Flight 90. I just wanted to talk about the flight. There it is, yep. Yeah. It was in the wintertime. Air Florida Flight 90, scheduled domestic flight, operated from Air Florida from Washington National, now Reagan National, to Fort Lauderdale, with an intermediate stopover in Tampa. On January 13th, 1982, I was in my senior year of high school, graduated that May. The Boeing 737 crashed into the 14th Street Bridge over the Potomac just after takeoff from Washington National Airport. Striking the bridge, which carries I-395, it hit 7 occupied vehicles and destroyed 97 feet of guardrail before plunging through the ice into the Potomac. It was carrying 74 passengers and 5 crew members. Only 4 passengers and 1 crew member were rescued from the crash and survived. Another passenger, Arlen Williams, assisted in the rescue of the survivors but drowned before he could be rescued. 4 motorists on the bridge were killed. The survivors were rescued from the icy river by civilians and professionals. President Reagan commended these acts during his State of the Union address 13 days later. Yeah, no, I'll never forget that. The pilot, Captain Larry Wheaton, age 34, was hired by Air Florida in 1978 and promoted to captain in 1980. He had 8,300 total flying hours with 2,300 in commercial jet experience, all along the Air Florida. Yep. He was described by fellow pilots as a quiet person with good operational skills and knowledge. Yep. Yep. First officer was described by friends as witty, bright, and outgoing. He's a 31-year-old. Yep. The plane had trouble leaving the gate with ground services. Tow motor could not get traction on the ice for roughly 30 to 90 seconds. Crew attempted to back away from the gate using reverse thrust, which proved futile. Boeing operations bulletins had warned against using reverse thrust in these kind of conditions. Eventually, a tug was used. Yep, so temperature outside was well below freezing. Snow was falling. Crew did not activate engine anti-ice system. Use the heat from the engines to prevent sensors from freezing, ensuring accurate readings. When running through the takeoff checklist, the following conversation snippet took place. First officer, pilot heat. The captain, on. First officer, engine anti-ice. Captain, off. Yep. It was 24 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 4 degrees Celsius. Wow. 4 of the crew members, including both pilots, died. 1 crew member seriously injured. 70 of the 74 passengers died. 19 were believed to survive the impact, but their injuries prevented them from escaping. Wow. Never forget that. Clinging to the tail section of the broken airliner in the ice-choked Potomac were Flight Lieutenant Kelly Duncan and 4 passengers. Patricia Felch, Joe Stiley, Arlen Williams strapped into a seat, and Patricia Tirado. Wow. That's crazy. Yep. The 6th passenger who had survived the crash and had repeatedly given up the rescue lines to other survivors before drowning was later identified as 46-year-old bank examiner Arlen Williams, Jr. It was then named, the Rochambeau Bridge was renamed the Arlen Williams Memorial Bridge in his honor. He graduated from the Citadel in 1957. They had several memorials for him. Wow. Yep, I'll never forget that. Air Florida. Scary stuff. 5 people survived. 4 passengers, 1 crew member. Have you ever interviewed other veterans that served with you on your show? That served with me? No, I haven't. That's actually interesting. I haven't never done that. Artie says the captain thought if he taxied close enough to the aircraft ahead of him, that would clear the ice. Really? That doesn't sound very bright. No, Light Rain, I've never interviewed... well, actually, that's not true. Technically, I have. Doug Mastriano, who is a senator here in Pennsylvania and was a candidate for governor in the last election, I've interviewed him on the channel. Excuse me, we served together at the U.S. Army War College, so technically, yes, I have. So I stand corrected. Beyond that, I'm trying to think if I've interviewed anyone else that I've served with. I don't really stay in touch with people I serve with in that capacity. I mean, I stay in touch with them through LinkedIn. In fact, I just got a Happy New Year's from a friend of mine, Tony Alameda, who served with me at U.S. Africa Command. Really nice guy. Really very devout Christian. Really nice guy. Tony Alameda. Really, I mean, he's a good mensch. Yeah, and but as far as interviewing people, no, I don't think I have. I don't think I have, other than Doug Mastriano. But that wasn't because of his veteran status or having served together. It was because he was a candidate for governor and he's a senator in the state of Pennsylvania. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's a good question. I hadn't really thought about it, so... stories from the field. Well, I've done that, stories from the field, with people that I've been in things with. So, for instance, I've had Colin on here. Colin, of course, is a PhD, a doctorate from Canfield University in the UK, who is a subject matter expert in security sector reform, who researched my security sector reform, came to Liberia, later came to the War College. He's been on my guest on my program a few times, not recently, but a few times. So I had him on. I also had on, when I first started my channel back in 2020, I had on my channel the former program manager, Jeff Rodriguez, for DynCorp, retired lieutenant colonel, who worked for me in Liberia. And he was my first guest ever for an interview. This first interview I ever did, we talked about the rebuilding the Armed Forces Liberia on the original channel. Actually, this channel. Let me see if I can find that, if it's still here. AFL. Let me see. Security Sector Reform, Rebuilding the Armed Forces Liberia, April 11th, 2020. Hour and 41 minutes. Huh. Wow, it's still here. Look at that. Looky there. Wow, hour and 41 minutes. Check this out. This was, that's from, there you go. Only 129 views. Only 129 views. At the time, I had, I think, 12 subscribers when I did this. So there's me in Liberia. That's at the Barclay Training Center, which is where they executed the, look at this, this is early days. I don't even know that I'm live there. Okay.
I'm not getting any audio.
There we go.
All right, so Jeff, if you could introduce yourself very quickly, appreciate it.
Sure. As Chris said, I'm Jeff Rodriguez. I was really lucky and proud to be the program manager for the DynCorp Security Sector Reform Program in Monrovia. Prior to that, I was a Army officer, 20 years active duty experience. Primarily started out in the Signal Corps, then transferred over to Special Operations with my background in civil affairs and psychological operations.
Because your mission changed over time. You guys were working for demobilization and other things. So tell us a little bit about your mission when you got there.
Right. So to highlight what Chris was saying, when I got there, both contractors actually, we were still in the crawl phase of our contracts.
So we did this for an hour and 41 minutes. He didn't have a good connection, so we did it with just the voice. Early days. I mean, I had only been doing this for a short time, but that only has 129 views 3 years later. So, yeah. So Light Rain, I'm glad that you like to hear it, but not a lot of people do apparently. So, yeah, it's definitely what have you done for me. So let's see. Let me see. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Guess who was here in this stream? And I didn't realize that he'd been here all this time. Paulie was here. Wow. At 3 minutes and 45 seconds, and Paulie says, I can hear, interested to listen in, Colonel. Wow. April of 2020, Paulie was one of my viewers. Man, oh man. Yeah, just look up AFL on my channel. Be on this channel and look up AFL. It's Security Sector Reform, Rebuilding the AFL 2007-2008. And I'll apologize for the amateurishness of it because I was learning how to live stream at the time. And you'll notice that my studio was completely different. It's facing actually in that direction over there, where there's an arch between this dining room, which I turned into a studio, and the sitting room, which is out there. Sitting room is not something we say in America, but that's what is a sitting room for people in South Africa. You'd recognize the term sitting room. So, wow. Jeremy Bulwer was on here. Jeremy Bulwer was one of the people involved in security sector reform. Dan Holman, he was also involved in security sector reform. Roland Murphy was one of the lieutenant colonel in the the Liberian military, who I trained as a young private and then lieutenant. And he's the one that I think played a big role in helping make sure the defense minister got me that hugely generous national decoration from Liberia. That was pretty cool. Wow. That's crazy. I'm looking at this. So it's top chat relay. Let me see if I can get just live chat replay. Yeah. Now it doesn't show me anything. That's crazy. Let me see if I can start again.
Had a 5-year contract to, again, I do remember.
Yeah, here we go. Jeremy says, Linda Thomas Greenfield was impressed with the education requirements, stating she barely passed the written test. Paulie wants to know, how was the contract awarded? Yeah, this was cool. I mean, I had 129 views on it, just 12 likes. I'm gonna hit the like button and make it 13, even though that's risky. Yeah, no, that was early days. I was innocent, naive, and quite a babe here. And you'll notice that the beard only comes down to about here. Very early days of growing the beard. and I'm wearing the traditional outfit that I was awarded in Liberia. I thought I'd be clever. I didn't want to be gowned. That the term is you're gowned. And I didn't want to be gowned. I was like, I mean, I'm kind of a humble person. It wasn't my kind of thing. But they did this. The Defense Ministry did this to all the people who helped out from Nigeria, from the U.S., from the U.K. When they left, they gowned them. And I figured I'd be clever. I let it be known that my favorite color was purple, and I thought that there's no way that they would come up with a purple outfit. But look what they did. They came up with purple. Look at that. It's absolutely stunning. It's a gorgeous outfit, and I cherish it to this day. Really awesome stuff. It was really nice. Not everybody say sitting room. That is a direct translation. Yeah, well, I mean, it's sitting room is something a lot of folks say. Yeah, so Vilma, okay. Yeah, so I mean, I've done a lot of these stories from the field. I've talked about my experiences. I don't always bring people in, but yeah, I could try to do that. The thing is, I mean, a few people are interested in it, but I mean, look, I'll do these things, and I've done them before, like this, and other stories for folks. But I'm trying to broaden the reach and get more people. And remember the blue mic? You got blue earphones for that thing. Yeah, no, that blue mic. I still have that. That's it's around here somewhere. I like these much better. But the room was very hollow. I didn't have the bookshelves in here. I didn't have the studio lights. I put that world map behind me on a chair to block the window frame so you didn't see the back room. Had Africa behind me. And that wall clock is still over there, still hanging up over there. That wall clock actually has a correct time compared to the one behind me, which is 2 minutes behind. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I look back, and it's kind of amateur, some of the stuff I did back then. But, it's... You just do things, right? I mean, it's you learn, and so let me make my content here. Actually, I don't know. Is that one viewable? Let me see. It's not private, I don't think. So let me go to the live button and go all the way to the end and work my way back, because it's one of the very first ones I ever did. I've made most of my live streams private, so it might be private. So let me just look and see. I don't think that one would have been made private. So March 19th, April 20th, is that when it was? Oh, there's April 19th here. Copyright from the fires. The fires say copyright. What's the copyright for? Oh, elect your photo up. Okay, I'll take that out. Trim out segment. Continue. I'm trimming out a use of Giselle's music from 3 years ago. Let me get to the next page, because it's probably on the next one. So, previous page. All right, 20. Wait a second. How is it not here? Wasn't that 20 April? Didn't I say that? What day is this? Rebuilding. No, it's not 20 April. What day was this? Let me see. I thought it said 20 April. 10 April. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, 10 April. Okay, go back here. Yeah, that did make sense. So 10 April, that was right after I got started on this. So 10 April. Okay, why is it not loading images here? It's not showing up here. Why is it not showing up? I can find it, but then I'm not finding it listed here. Okay, this is... Okay. Oh, very annoying. Okay. 13 April. 10 April. I don't see it here. I just found it, though, so how could it not be here? Wow, let me take a look. There it is. That's crazy. It was fun in those early days, wasn't it? It really was. Let me look for this again. AFL. Why am I not finding it here? AFL. Okay. Now it says 11 April, not 10 April. Okay, maybe that's why. 11 April. No, it's not here. These are live streams. It was a live stream because I had chat on there. So let's look for AFL. It shows up. So why isn't it showing up in my list of videos here? Edit this. Okay. 3 playlists. It's public. Well, here's the link. Let me give you the link, okay, so you can find it, okay, so you guys can go find it. So sorry about that. I don't mean to rummage around here, but that's the link for it. I don't know why it's not showing up on my list of videos here. That's YouTube is crazy. I mean, it's not hidden, so it should be there. Huh. It's in my live stream, Talking Africa, and Daba Conversation with Chris. So, I don't get it. It says public. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So why can I not find it? And it even has a file name live stream here. That's weird. Strange. There's a thing here where you should be able to download it. I'm looking to download it because I don't think I have it anywhere. But I have to find it in my list of videos, which I'm not finding. Interesting. Oh, you know what? I'm looking in the wrong year. No, it's 2021. It should be 2021. Should be April 10th. It's not here. How is that even possible? April 10th, April 11th. That's strange. Let me look under videos as if it's downloaded and reloaded. Okay, let me go back there. So, wow. April 11th. No, it's not here. Not here. How is that possible? I don't understand that. That's just crazy, man. It's just not there. It's not hidden, but I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. Hendo was pretty quick right from the very beginning. Erica was still with Scott Balson, and I think Erica must have come over. I could be wrong. She'd have to correct me. I think Erica came over after I was on Scott. Might have been before that. Happy Festivus. Where is the aluminum pole? Aluminum pole. Oh, for the Christmas tree. But Hendo was here right away. We also had this guy Kyle Green ZA, who kept asking me to create moderators. I didn't know what moderators were at the time or how they worked on this channel. And he told me to do it, and he became the first moderator ever. I think Hendo was the second moderator. Erica became one later. Yeah, Hendo was here from the very outset, although I think he's fallen asleep tonight since we got started. I got 0 notifications. I had to go with it live. Hey, Myra. Yeah, no, it's YouTube. What are you going to do? Well, I mean, even more crazy enough for me, that video is on my channel, and it's not hidden. So why can I not find it? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. So when I search for it, it shows up. But when I look at my videos, in my list, in my content, it's not there. Very strange. Very strange. And again, it's from April 11th of 2020. Let me go back here. Maybe it just didn't go back far enough. Maybe that's it. I'm looking in the wrong year. That's the problem. Come on, it's got to be there. 20. Why is it not going all the way to the end? This is annoying. That's the problem. I was in 2021, not 2020. And it won't let me go all the way to the end. I don't know what's going on here. Wow, this is irritating. I had a stray voltage news of the day on 17 December with 1,000 views. And my Night Owls had 1,100 views. Wow. 4,000 views on my Ramaphosa address. 1,000 on my Night Owls. Yeah, another one on my news, 1,000. Yeah, man, that was the days. That's December. That's the heady time. That's when I was making money's channel. The Cloatsville March for Cape Independence, 3,000 views. Stray Voltage Night Owls, 1,200 views. Stray Voltage News of the Day, 1,200 views. Stray Voltage, 1,500 views. Ramaphosa, 3,500 views. Stray Voltage, 800 views. 1,200 views. 2,200 views with Giselle. Ineligible copyright. Which is the copyright there? Which probably got for Unspensa. Oh boy, yeah, Giselle. And then 2,000 with Jack Miller from Cape Independence Party. Liesl Pretorius, which is the macadamia nut stuff. That lady, I got 1,100 views. Wow, it was a different time, man. It's exciting stuff. It was exciting stuff back then. Okay, I'm in the wrong year. That's why I can't find it. It's the dead internet theory. Costs money to store info and it's not being saved. The past is being erased. No, I'm looking at the wrong year. I think that's the problem. Yep. But here you go. Rhodesia Day, UDI, 3,300 views. Stray Voltage, News of the Day, 2,500 views. You can see why I used to be excited about doing this. I mean, it was really exciting stuff. But this is around the time I'm being harassed, for the election. So, yep. So somewhere in here was the election. Election night 2020, 9,844 views of a live stream. 8 hours and 6 minutes it listed here. I was on for 12, 14 hours a day, but 8 hours here. Yep. Reform and Strodes, 5,100 views. Yep. Night Owls, 1,400 views. Wow, that was exciting stuff. Even had a live stream talking about Nigeria and got 1,400 views. Yeah, that stuff just isn't there anymore. Just isn't there anymore. 2,000 for Trump in Arizona. Okay, we're getting there closer now. But I'm getting lots of limited and eligible videos here. So now I'm back to October 2,600. I got a ways to go here. It won't let me go to the end. It's really annoying. It lets me come all the way back the other way. Myra's got to go to work. Okay, good night or good day. Mimi Kalenda, Eric Bello, the actor, Joe Stong, Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson. That one only got me 700 views, and she was late and banned on me. Then there's a political cartoonist I had on here. There's Jeremy Nell, September. All of these live stream Floxiliers, all these interviews. My footage all from Wyoming is on here, September. And it's saying limited. Ad suitability. Why is there ad suitability? I mean, it's because of the news of the day. It's not. It's just a picture. It's not the actual. Vitkreuz Monument, 2,000 views. Dr. Victor Davis Hanson, 18,000 views on that one. Don Kiefer, special representative from here, 4 years ago, 276. What else? 2,400 farm murders. I'm getting there. August. I'm in August of 2020. Still going backwards. Dr. Corney Mulder, Andre Schneemann. What else? 5,000 views. Cyril from Hero to Zero. What else? 2,000 views for Cape Independence with Des Palm. That's one there with Brett Sessoms got 844 views. I had Brett on. Yeah, in August. And then I'm getting a little closer back here. I'm going to get to the one with Steve Hofmeyer. That's coming up. Where's it at here? Steve Hofmeyer was in August. Unati Kwaza. Steve Hofmeyer, 16,000 views. August, come on, stick with me here. Keep going. Gareth Mason, 546 views. Paratus, Germ Warfare, 1,000 views. Herman Rutsch, 1,000 views. He got almost as many as Germ did. That's because people were tuning in and listening to me. That's why. Conscious Caracal, my first time I had him on, July of 2000, 1,363 views. Yep. Yeah, come on, we're getting close there. Marabani, 2,100 views. 2,600 views on a Stray Voltage that I did. Wow. Okay, still July 1st. The Red Ants, remember that? Odin Moja, had him on here. Okay. Odin came to Miami or came to Tallahassee to go to college. Yeah. Renee Kruger, first time I had her, not quite 1,000 views, 963. Colin Robinson, that's the guy I was talking about. June, we're getting closer. SpaceX demo. NASA SpaceX, I was doing space stuff and space launch in May of 2020. Come on, we're getting there. Now we're getting down to almost no views. The Giselle Live Lockdown concert got me 4,000 views. That was the biggest one. Oh, there is finally the damn thing that takes me all the way back to the end. I couldn't find it till now. I don't know why. So my... Okay. All these are removed videos. Okay. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 videos removed. Yeah. Why is this ineligible? Cannot be monetized. Special. I got one that's cannot be monetized with USA Eagles cap. That doesn't make any sense. All right. So March, April. Okay. Welcome to my channel. Got 6,600 views. Okay, now let me go back one. Let's go to April. There it is, April 11th. Finally, I found it. My goodness. Well, then I did that special on virus. So I sat down and went through my 50 or so books that I have in my collection talking about epidemiology. And I said, Virus, the Unseen Horror for Mankind. Didn't get any claim of medical misinformation for that in April of 2020. That was a 54-minute broadcast. Only had 88 views. But in April, I only had like a couple hundred subscribers. Yep. Yep. All these on this page in April, we got like 100 views. Yeah. Yep. So, how many views your trucker rally covers? That was great. Not a lot. When was that? Was that in 2021 or 20? I can't remember when the trucker rally was now. 2022? Can't remember when it was. Hagerstown. Let me see. Was it 2023? Is that really what it was? No. People's Con was 2022. May 2022. So it would have been on the other channel. Because this channel was gone in 2021. So it was on the other channel. I can't look at that right now and get you numbers because it's on the other channel. Yep. JetBlue, Aloha, I can get all these airlines things. I don't need to see those anymore. Yep, Air Florida, Hagerstown. So it was 2022. I thought so, yeah. So it's on the other channel. Table Mountain. Now, the Table Mountain stuff was on this channel. And I need to go all the way back. That was one of the last things. So we zip all the way back. So there are 736 videos listed here. I deleted all kinds of videos and hid a bunch of videos. I had 1,800 videos on this channel. Yeah. So there's 736 live streams, most of which you guys can't see. And I made them private so that people can't make bogus strikes against them. So November 15th was the last time I live streamed on this channel. So it's been a month and a half. But let me go back to April 2021. So, all right. So the Cape Town fire. The first one I did, Cape Town Table Mountain Fire Rages. It says I got limited funding because the ad suitability is not there. And then I got a copyright on this one. What's that? Okay, that's video cannot be monetized. All editing's in progress. Yeah, so 11,366 views and 14 comments. I got dislikes on it. Paul Labaskakny said, thanks, Chris. Sonia Froman says, love your channel. I believe this was intentional. Yep. Yep. And then these are people I've never seen before. They didn't come back. Bebop Williams is there. Okay. Kevin Morris, who I haven't seen in a while, but he was there. Hendo. Yeah, of course. But so just to give you an idea what happened. So this was my original channel. And of the 14 comments on here, only 2 are people who I see on my channel anymore. Yeah, and 14 comments on that video. A live stream. Let me look at my regular videos and see if I got one with a lot of comments. We'll see. Okay. Here's, well, that's April. Yeah, I haven't done a regular video on this channel since April. Because, I mean, no one's watching this stuff. In March of this year, I did Visiting the Ford Trucker Monument. That one just went over 2,000 views finally. Yeah. So, and some people complained about it. They didn't like the music in it. I didn't get that. So, Cape Town Fire. This is one of the prepared videos I did for 10 minutes. Got 6,000 views. Another one I did for 6 minutes got 4,500 views. Another one I did for an update got 9,200. Another one got 18,000. If you put all the Cape Town fires together, I had about 50 or 60,000 views probably for those things. Yep. In total, between the prepared videos and the live streams. I got 2 live streams, and then the prepared videos, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 videos. So between the 6 of those videos, 8 videos, then I had 50,000 views or more over that Cape Fire. Look, I'm proud of my coverage on that. I thought it was very professional. It was like watching a news program. And unfortunately, just a couple days after that, my channel was ripped away from me. Really sucked. So I made one here about Zimbabwe around that time frame. I mean, listen to this, folks. This is April 18th, okay? This is how busy I was making videos. April 18th of 2021. Cape Town, and this is as my channel is about to be robbed from me for a video that didn't exist. Cape Town conflagration update with ward counselor. Cape Town conflagration as evening descends. Cape Town fire update. University of Cape Town library. Breaking news, Table Mountain, fire out of control. Zimbabwe independence, 41 years on. How Chris Roper carries the water for UCT lecture. Okay, that is April 18th. Prepared videos. 12:46, 7 minutes and 46 seconds, 7 minutes 56 seconds, 3 minutes 53 seconds, 3 minutes 1 second, 6 minutes 30 seconds, 6 minutes 18 seconds, 20 minutes 4 seconds. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 prepared videos and 2 live streams in one day. On one day. On 3 different subjects. Folks, I gave it my all. I really gave it my all. No, it was light rain. The Table Mountain broadcast was like sitting in a situation room. All the reporting from the ground, call-ins, mods, hopping, very professional. Yeah, thanks. That's actually light rain, despite the fact that I had 2 strikes against my camera. I thought, now we're really going to take off. People are going to watch this as a serious news program. I didn't know that what was coming. It's a shame. I'm so glad I got this channel back because we lost all this content. Unless it was prepared video, I didn't have the live streams. I didn't have, and that's why I guarded my channel, because of the hate wankers who make fraudulent claims against the content. So I just went back, and when this channel was restored, I started making all these videos private so that no one can see them and make false claims. If you can't see it, you can't make a false claim. Yeah. If Kester says if you go longer, you'll get the folks in South Africa on. Well, I hope they turn on soon. It's already 7 a.m. there, and they're not popping in now. So maybe somebody needs to tell the groups, put some more stuff out there. But it is 7 o'clock in South Africa. People are up and moving. Some people going to work already. But yeah, the Table Mountain stuff was pretty cool. I mean, Paulie appreciated it. Paulie got to call in. I mean, I was on so long that Paulie, in fact, let me see something here. Paulie came back to the program, and I've been on for a long time. Where's it at? April. There we go. See, this one doesn't tell me how long the video is, and that one says 146, so I don't get it. But yeah, I had been on long enough that he came back and called in. So he had been in Cape Town, then flew back to Joburg. It's a couple hours for the flight, plus he spent at least an hour at the airport each way. So about 4 hours later, and boom, he was back. And he called me when he got back to Joburg. So it was pretty interesting. He was sending me video, which his wife had made. I didn't know that was from his wife at the time. And it was first-person stuff. It was really cool. Then I had that counselor that I spoke to. That was pretty cool. And what was her name? Let me see. She's from the DA. And April 2021. Ward counselor. What's her name? Nicola Joel. Yep. Oh, I got ward counselor here. It's ward. Ward counselor. Cape Town's Ward 54. Yep. That was pretty wild. Let me see. Let me listen to that real quick. That was a long time ago. Now. Come on. Any day now. Oh, there she is. Hey.
Yes, I am.
That you had some update information. I saw that some good news, already in this studio. A bit of good news in all this, is that a lot of the manuscripts and documents apparently were stored underground in the library, and they may not have been lost. And then also, I got updates from people in neighborhoods about police chasing arsonists who are after-the-fact arsonists. So you are a ward counselor in the 54th Ward of Cape Town, correct?
That's correct. I am a city councillor, so my area hasn't been directly affected by the fire, but obviously this is an issue, and all of Cape Town is standing behind the communities affected, and the firefighters are out there on the fire line doing phenomenal work.
And a lot of people were asking about the firefighters, and they were talking about the aviators, and I point out what incredible risk those aviators are at because of updrafts, smoke, obscuration, not to mention you're flying in front of a massive mountain. You could turn, and it could be a short distance. I would have to agree from my perspective. I'm little questions about how the fire was addressed, but there's no time for that right now. Now they've got to subdue the fire, get it under control. But from what I have seen, the images of firefighters and the footage, it seems that they're doing heroic work there. It seems like you'd agree.
Oh, absolutely. I always agree. I think, as most of us people will run away from a fire, as we should do. They're running in.
Yeah. But yeah, that's thanks for asking me to bring that up. That was I was really I thought I did a good job with that stuff. So thanks for reminding me of that, Light Rain. It's been a long time. I needed that cheering up, It's sometimes you feel like you're just struggling, You wonder if you're just spinning your wheels. It's time to do something else. But yeah, I needed that little boost there. And we took a slight uptick. Somebody's popped back in here. So whoever's come on, thank you for tuning in. It's Night Owls on the OG, the original gangster, the original channel here, Chris Wyatt on YouTube, the channel that I've had since 2006 that was unfairly stuffed away by PooTube for 23 months in the gulag. And I appealed for it last year on a third attempt and got my channel back. Proof that you can get your channel back. By the way, my other channel, I should be free of my warning now because I followed their rules and I should be free of my warning. So actually, I'm going to make videos for this channel. I'll make another one tonight before I go to bed, and I'm going to talk about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and how she talks about America. You know, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said that America does have a undocumented aliens problem. She admitted that. But she said the problem is that there's no path to citizenship. Well, that's just simply a lie. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just find this data for you real quick. U.S. naturalizations, naturalizations by year. Okay. Chart. There we go. Okay. All right. Naturalization statistics for the United States. Let me see what I get here. I don't want 2022. I want year over year. This is ridiculous. By the way, naturalizations, the top years in 2022, none of them are majority white countries, all people of color. Mexico, India, Philippines, Cuba, Dominican Republic, China, Vietnam, Jamaica, El Salvador, Colombia make up half of the people. Yep. Pennsylvania took in 27,000. I'm looking for a map over time. That's too small. It's not the graphic I wanted. Let me see if I can naturalization in the U.S. Let me see if I can get a better picture here. There we go. That's the one I want. So I need to zoom this in. So here's naturalization in the United States. Okay, I'm going to show you this on the screen here real quick. It's going to be hard to see, but I'll try to zoom up a little bit. Bring it up. There we go. Okay. All right. So there we go. This is 1910 to 2022. So since the 1990s, on average, we've had at least 500,000 per year. There have been a few exceptions under Democrats in 98. 461,000, 462,000. Here it's 500. But every year since then, we've had at least 500,000. And we've averaged 700 to 900,000 per year. Now, Trump was president in 2017. 707,000 naturalized. 2018, 761,000 naturalized. 2019, which is his last year's president, 843,000 naturalized foreign nationals. And then the first year of Biden, because of COVID, dropped to 628, then 813, and now 969. We have naturalized nearly 1 million foreign nationals to be American citizens in the past year. Yeah, we're just a systemically racist country, according to these clowns. But that's the bottom line right there, folks. That's the bottom line right there. Sorry, I got that screen on still. I forgot that. So there you go. Yeah, that's all this nonsense about America. It's time to get past this garbage. Don't listen to these people. Just total lies. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Even in 1916, we naturalized 100,000 plus people, 104,000 people. Wow. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Even the lowest years, which was 51, was 54,000 foreign nationals became Americans. So we have a long history of making people Americans. Yep. Oh, now we drop back down. People disappeared again. Yeah, so, that's the truth of America's naturalization, not the lies told to us by leftists. Yep, that's just the truth. Yep. And I'm going to save that graphic because I like that graphic. I'm going to use it for a chart. I think I'll hold off on making the AOC video, but it's time for me to put another video on this channel, put some more effort into it, even though they're stripping all my viewers away. We'll do what we can here. Yep, so let me get rid of that there. Okay, back to there. Because I lost 37 subscribers in the last month, so I need to put some U.S. political stuff on here and hopefully get some views. My Claudine Gay video is only gotten 318 views in 5 days. Apparently that's not going to draw people in. Yeah, so are people still with me here? I mean, it's awfully quiet in the chat. Excuse me. Anyway, so gosh, we've been at this for almost 2 hours, folks. It's after midnight. I didn't plan on going for 2 hours. I thought I'd just go for about an hour or so. So this is categorized as nonprofits and activism. It's just supposed to be people. I'll have to recategorize that after the fact. In fact, let me do that now. So let me do that. Customization. No, it's not nonprofits. It is people, and that's not it. News and politics is not what it was. People and blogs. That's what this is supposed to be. There we go. People and blogs. That's what it's supposed to be for this category. Well, people have gotten gun shy about chatting here. It makes me wonder if people are still listening. So, all right. Thank you all so much. I'm going to go to bed, get some rest. I did have a doctor's appointment today, and that took a long time. And then a dental appointment. And the good news is this. I haven't shared this with you folks. So the tooth that was in concern, that had some decay on it under a crown or around the edge of a crown, he was able to cut the old crown apart, and then very concerned that tooth would be cracked when he worked on it. But he's able to work on it and shape it, and he saved the tooth. And so I got a temporary crown, like this, right there, temporary crown, and wait for the new crown to come in. So my tooth is still there. I didn't lose it. So that's good news. Yep. And thanks, everybody. Have a good night. So that's good news for me. Appreciate it. And y'all have a good one. We'll see you here either on the other channel or this one, but probably the other channel. All right. Good night, everybody. God bless and be safe out there. Cheers.